Good evening and welcome to the Voices of Change. My name is Lady J and I'll be your host this evening.
And I'm Shamel, the co-host.
And I guess I'm the guest, Elliot Bell.
You're going to be the guest or the guest co-host of what? What are
Whatever,
you? Who
whatever.
are you?
I don't know. You got to tell me who I am today.
I think you're going to be the guest co-host. We're going to
Okay.
have two co-hosts today. I'm
Cool.
so lucky because I'm kind of losing my voice and I am so blessed and fortunate to have Shamel and Mr. Bell. That rhymes.
You have too much fun all by yourself.
I think it must be the sinus medicine. Today we had planned to have two special guests, but one of the guests, unfortunately, because he has so much going on, he's not going to be able to come. He is an actor, a dancer, a singer, a teacher, director, producer, entertainer, and writer, Frederick Alfonso. And we're going to have Mr. Bell and Miss Chamel talk about him a few minutes from now. But in addition to that, we are planning on having a candidate for commissioner of the second district. I'm excited about that with the election coming up March 20th. His name is Attorney Paul Montes, and we'll be expecting him the second half hour. So that's going to be something that if you know someone who's not watching, call them up, text them, email them, tell them to watch. This is a person who'll be representing the second district. It's a broad area and it probably impacts you. And with voting being next week, that definitely impacts you. A big shout out to our sponsors, GV Entertainment, Oda Enterprises, and Gray Tax Services. GV Entertainment will have a casting call the next few weeks for an upcoming theatrical performance in which Mr. Bell is going to play an integral part. We'll talk about that later.
Cool.
Oda Enterprises specialize in program development and grant writing consultation. I am Gray Tax Service, and I am an authorized e-file provider. I have the IRS AFSP designation and provide tax services for individuals and small businesses. Been in the business 10 years, over 10 years, and conveniently located at 5940 West Lake Street in Chicago. If you don't have a tax preparer, call Gray Tax Service at 773-417-2094. How's that for a personal plug, Elliot? I'm waiting for you to say something. You're
Oh,
quiet.
I'm just letting you get it in today. Don't worry.
You'll be here later, right?
All right. Shameless plug.
Shameless plug, that's right. I start my show off with the scripture for today. It's going to be one of my favorites, Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for calamity, to give you a future and a hope. We're going to have a quick break, and then Mr. Bell and Ms. Chamel is going to discuss that show that Mr. Alfonso should be here talking about, but unfortunately he can't be here, so I'm not going to blame him. So we'll be right back. For those just tuning in, you're listening to the Voices of Change only on Intellectual Radio and iHeart Station. And today we are going to have Mr. Bell and Ms. Jamel tell you about an upcoming show. And shortly thereafter, we're going to talk to the candidate for commissioner for the second district. Mr. Bell and Ms. Jamel, you're on.
All right. Well, Mr. Frederick Alfonso has a new up-and-coming production called Who's Next, which takes a hard look at today's social injustices, including racism, sexism, homophobia, domestic violence, and substance abuse, seen through the eyes of a single family. As a televised tragedy hits their small town, and they find themselves in the center of a firestorm. Directed and choreographed by Frederick Alfonso and starring a large and diverse cast, this new musical is out to raise awareness about these issues and more as it makes its debut at the Vault at Collaboration Studios in Chicago's Wicker Park.
Cool, cool, cool. Yes, indeed. So, Frederick Alfonso is definitely directing and choreographing this wonderful event. So, you want to make sure that you go. They have a couple of shows left. I believe I'm looking at March the 15th at 7:30, March 16th at 7:30, March 17th at 5 p.m., and March 17th at 8 p.m., and one more at 5 p.m. on the 18th of March. You can purchase your tickets at www.whosnextmusical.com. Again, www.whosnextmusical.com. Frederick is a very good friend of mine, and I was looking forward to interviewing him today. I'm going to have to call and talk about him later. But Fred is just an awesome guy, wonderful guy, very talented and gifted guy, and I'm certain you're going to enjoy what you see. Another high school friend of mine is a part of the musical. His name is Patrice. We went to high school together.
Wow.
So I have yet to see it, but I'm making my plans to go see it to support. So if you have not gone to support Fred and you know Fred, you should make it your business over the weekend to go and support. Again, you can get tickets at www.whosnextmusical.com.
Do you know anything about when the next show is going to be on? Do you know anything about the content, what it's about? Just wondering.
Well, I am not sure because I have yet to see it, unfortunately.
That's why I wanted to know when the next shows were, because I definitely.
The next shows are going to be, again, I think I mentioned it, but we can repeat that. We have March 15th, which is tomorrow, at 7:30, and then on Friday, March 16th at 7:30, March 17th at 5, and again at 8, and then March 18th at 5 p.m. So those are the next days. I think the 18th is the last day. Fred, if you're watching, if you're listening, it would be good if you called in. We would love to hear from you at some point. But we know Fred is extremely busy preparing this great show once again for you all to go see. If you want to get tickets, again, that website is www.whosnextmusical.com.
Thank you so much, you two, for telling us about that. Now, I know I've been I'm so excited about in the near future for Miss Shamel getting her own segment. So I guess we're going to kind of trial that now, where she's going to talk about an upcoming concert that she's excited about.
Of course, I'm excited about this. If you are big Beyonce fans, there will be an On the
I
Run
know she
2
had to. She had to.
tour with Beyonce and Jay-Z. Yes, I am probably shameless plugging it, but please
You
enjoy
had to do
it.
that, didn't you?
Just enjoy the show. I've got my ticket so I can see you there. We can talk about it when
Did
we
they
come
put you out
back.
your house yet? Have you missed the rent? I just want to know.
No, I didn't. It's pretty steep. People are like,
That's what
you
I've
pay
been
that much,
hearing.
but it's not that bad.
Are they repossessing your car? What are
No,
they taking?
they're not taking nothing much.
Are you going to have a meet? Are you going to a meet and greet? Because everyone who I know goes to these concerts and they got to get VIP and
No,
meet
I
and
didn't
greet.
pay for VIP. That's
I wonder how much is that?
no.
How much is
that'll
that?
put me out my house probably.
Oh,
There
really?
you go.
1,000?
Yes.
Because I
Really?
think they started like 300 or 400 or something, don't they?
Yes. And especially if you want to be down low, you can see her body actually. I'm not seeing body, I can see the screens and a little bit of her.
Interesting.
Then I'll watch it on cable later on. Go ahead.
They will not put the concert on cable.
That's
But
Janet Jackson
that
they do
does
that
mean that she's going to put out an album because we can't go to a concert and we already know the old songs.
for. So you mean to tell me she's gonna get money off y'all now and then money off
Exactly.
y'all again?
Just like she did before. And Lemonade. Yes, she took my money. I bought the tickets.
The
and
only
she made
lemonade
the
I had
album.
was a lemonade I bought from the store. Thank you very much.
You could have made your own lemonade like she was talking about.
Yeah,
See?
I don't trust it.
So we love to hear that perspective from Miss Shamel.
Yes.
Any interesting news stories? Unfortunately, I didn't have a News You Can Use segment because the intention was to interview two different people today. So we can just talk about some of the current events going on.
Well, today we did a walkout at the school.
Who did?
The students did a walkout.
Oh, that's right. You're in education. I'm sorry.
For 17 minutes for the 17 victims.
Did everybody go out?
No, only 3rd through 8th grade went out.
But did they go out or did
Yes.
just a few of them?
No, they went out.
Right, so the
Unless
entire-
parents approved, we sent home a letter to make sure that parents are okay with them being out of school for 17 minutes. and then coming back in. So yes, it was amazing. They had signs and everything.
They were
Wow.
organized.
Yes, we're
Really?
organized.
I love
My
it.
school.
I
So
love it.
it was amazing. It's not. It was so many other schools. I have other friends who are educators, and they did it, and you could see that the students were really empowered by it and enjoyed it.
That's interesting. I talked to one of my customers who came in today, and he was talking about it because not far from Oak Park, and they were part of the walkout too. So he was saying, it's interesting when the brother who took the knee and he was called an SOB by the leader of the free world, and how the gun violence has been rampant in our communities. I'm not saying any violence is violence, but now since it's affecting all communities, they're having these mass walkouts, and it would just be nice if collectively as a people, or as all people, that we would do something anytime something goes on. And then he went on to talk about Colin and how Colin just took a knee and he hasn't even got on a team yet, and
No,
that's a whole nother topic
he's
because
been blackballed.
people were supposed to be boycotting. Some people, everyone didn't agree, said they were going to be boycotting this season. I don't think they boycotted a game.
Not at all.
No,
Not at all.
they're real passionate fans.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that we have collectively as a people, we have so much power in our dollars because we spend so many more dollars than anybody else per person. We're conspicuous consumers, but we sometimes don't spend it wisely. But that's a whole nother show that I really
Whole
want to.
nother
I can't wait till
show.
my voice comes back because I really want to get into that.
Oh,
Anyway,
good stuff. Good stuff.
Mr. Bell, I know there's something on your mind, and I know what it is.
What is it?
We were talking earlier about someone who said something to the effect, help me, uh, why is church different now than it was before?
Oh yes. Wonderful conversation today.
Yeah, it was.
So the question, I was having a conversation with my barber earlier today. Don't make any jokes about being my barber. I knew that was coming. Don't do
I
it.
didn't, how,
I know you don't do it. So yes, I go to the barber shop. Yes, I have hair. Let's get that straight.
well,
I
I do
do have
too.
hair.
Ha ha. So what? Now go ahead.
This is why I love you. Meanwhile, the question was asked, do you go in fellowship with other churches? I said, yeah. He was like, well, I don't see that a lot. Church has changed a lot. He said, for me anyway. And I wanted to ask, what makes church different? How has church changed? Because my barber is not that much older than me, maybe by 2 or 3 years. And that makes some kind of difference because I'm not sure if he goes to church a lot or if he goes at all. But the fact that he's noticed that there's been a change in the way church is done, because I think I was sharing with you, Janice, how as a kid we had a church and we would go, you could go almost a whole month to like 4 or 5 different churches and have a good time every single Sunday. You go to different churches for their musicals and their events and all that good stuff. And now it's like, what is that? It's a church next door that you've never been to. Like, how do you do that? How do you function? So it's like, how has church changed? Now we don't do that. We may go to church if we go, and we go home. Do we understand, the purpose of going to church? Is it effective anymore? So it's questions like that we have.
Do you think that fellowship encouraged people to keep going? Because I was telling you, I was surprised at how many people are unchurched. Totally, not
Oh, yeah.
sometime, because a lot of people don't go all the time, but they don't go at all. They're totally unchurched.
Yeah. I believe it really has affected the fact that people don't go to church, because that was a time of fellowship. You would go to your friend's church, your church choir would sing with their church choir, and y'all have a good time. Y'all go out to eat and all this other jazz, and then y'all go home and come to work the next day talking about, "Ooh, we had a good time at church." You don't hear that anymore. Back in the day, in the days of my mother and my grandfather and the like, you had friends. My grandfather had a pastor friend, and the family would all go to their church, and they all had friends, and they would hang out. So there was a camaraderie amongst each other that you had from church to church. And so it was easy to go. Now you don't have that. The bonds of friendship are not what they used to be, because these pastors have died or what have you, and they don't know. Well, I don't know who they are, so we're not gonna go to their church, or we're not gonna fellowship with them. We're gonna be in our own four walls and just sing our own little songs and look sad and pitiful and whatever.
Well,
I mean, well, yeah. It is what it is. So,
Yeah.
that fellowship makes a difference. It's like going to school. Some days you may not want to go to class, but if my friend gonna be there, I'm gonna go because we gonna class. We may not learn nothing that day, but
Well,
at least
that's
I
why
was
I love
there.
going to
That's true.
school. I mean, I loved every single day of school. I couldn't wait to either have on new clothes. I always had, or to be with my friends
That's why she's spoiled now.
and to learn also.
See.
I mean, I wanted to learn too.
Learning,
But
education.
no
On the
education.
tail end.
But I loved the socialism, the social part of school.
Yeah.
Loved it. Loved
Social
it.
part of church.
And there is
And the social part of church. It
and
is.
we've grown out of that. Like there is an actual social part of church that we miss. That's what makes church church. Yes, we've come with the intent to worship, which is the first and highest point of us coming. We've come to worship and praise God, and that's very important. If you're not doing that, then you're kind of wasting your time. You're coming to worship, you're coming to hear from the Lord, but you're also coming to have some kind of social gathering together. The Bible talks about forsake not the assembling of yourselves together. That didn't just go for just coming to the church, but you're coming to fellowship because there's strength in numbers. So if I'm going through something and you're going through something, if I see you, you might encourage me. But if I don't come to church, I may not see you. I might not be encouraged. So I'm gonna be sitting at home depressed and looking sad and pitiful. Again, here we go.
You know what? I can even add to that. I used to go to a real small church presentation before it closed.
Oh yeah.
So Father Time, after church, we would have this like social thing, and we go, downstairs, and they'd always have food. We'd hang around at 2:30, 3 o'clock. Everybody had any issues, you talk about it, or you get to know people better, and it was a real social aspect that you looked forward to, and that was like every Sunday. So you were gone all day.
Yeah.
Then you go home and eat dinner.
Right.
You're gone all day. You're gone all day. So, and it was nice. But
Indeed.
any other topics that may be on your mind? That maybe there's been so much going on with 45 and so much going. I know that's another show too. I know. But there's been a whole lot going on. But is there anything that kind of just stands out? We're gonna take what time is it now anyway? We're gonna take a quick break.
20.
Oh. Yeah, we're going to take a quick break momentarily, but I wanted to know if there was anything else that was pressing or on your mind or something that you wanted to talk about.
Well, since you gave your shameless plug tonight,
oh my gosh,
can I give my shameless plug? I don't talk about myself that often.
I'll brag on you. What is it about?
So, you know that I play for 2 churches. Well, y'all know that.
And I also know that I invited you to come here because we have a stage and a studio to play so we can perform. Go ahead. Give your plug now.
Meanwhile, while Jay tried to get a music career out of me over here,
No, I just want to get on the stage and do the thing,
We gonna take you downtown to put you on the stage.
No, I don't have to have I just want to get on the. Why not? You play like magic. Go ahead.
I wish. If Magic Johnson played, I'd really be something. But no.
Now, how did he get to Magic Johnson?
You said Magic.
Okay.
I don't know. Anyway, so one of the churches that I play for, Union Missionary Baptist Church at 940 North Orleans, they are shameless. Yeah. They are giving me an appreciation service for my 33rd birthday, which will be on April 22nd. So I'm inviting y'all to come out. Last year, Jay sang, and they love this little Catholic lady over here.
Oh, why you singing?
I had to say it like that because you shocked them. You shocked them. They were like, "She's Catholic?" I'm like, "Yeah." She says like that? Yeah.
Well, I was talking about that with Dennis, and he said if I don't have anything else to do, we're going.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get some people to go and support. I'm gonna try to get Shamel too, but she goes out of town. She's a traveler. She's a world traveler, so it's hard to get her.
I have it honest.
If we have your presence, but
I would love to.
Busy.
I need to put it in my calendar, and it'll be on.
She got a schedule meeting.
She has to have.
I love it. I'm not mad though.
Yes. I'm not either.
She's doing her own run the world tour over there. Forget Beyonce.
Other than Beyonce.
Right, she's doing her own tour.
Beyonce the booty shaker, right?
I don't know if she's doing too much shaking now.
Oh, she's shaking still.
Blue Ivy slowed her down a little bit.
Yeah, and the twins. So
I forget she had the
that's
twins.
right. She had the twins
nobody
too.
talks about her. They've been
I forgot about the twins.
And hiding, yes.
That's a good thing, right. I guess.
She got time to maybe have 1 or 2 more.
Oh, I don't care. Just keep doing concerts.
Just keep doing concerts. Well, that's not going to stop that.
They say Beyonce do this just in time for tax season to get people.
Every tax season she out here with her head down.
That's strategic. That's smart.
Hey, that's
But isn't
paid.
it smart? That's strategic.
That's a mess. That's what it is.
That's what
You
you
ain't getting my money. No.
you should try to maximize that revenue. That's what she should be doing.
Oh,
That's right.
Terrible.
She got
Putting
mine.
folks out their house.
Well, if they want to be VIP and everything, that's on
Exactly.
Because I
them.
know a couple of folk. I'm like, really?
And
Talking
they
about
bought
I'm gonna
tickets
be
already.
there. Yeah, I'm gonna be there by any means necessary.
Oh my
Can I borrow
gosh.
$5? No, you cannot.
Oh my god.
For those who sit on the floor, but you way back in Soldier Field, like you on the floor, but you can't
You
see
have a
anything.
floor to sit on?
They have floor seats, but
Why
you
would you
know,
want to do
it's
that?
like a whole football field. You all the
Because
way
it's
in the back
Beyonce.
because you're on the floor. No, I'd rather be in the 200 level where I can see.
Oh.
Floor, you have no vision.
It comes back to her. Oh no, I mean
all day.
I don't have anything.
Who runs the
I
world? Beyonce. Why
wait.
don't you? I mean, hey,
Getting
I mean,
paid.
there's
everything gonna revert back to her today. Okay.
yeah. Well,
Clearly.
I'll accept that. On that note, we are going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back shortly. Did you say anybody? For those just tuning in, you're listening to the Voices of Change only on Intellectual Radio. Hello, we have a caller. Could I have your name and where you're calling from?
I'm calling from Los Angeles, California.
Hi. What comment do you have?
Say that again. I can barely hear you.
Do you have a comment to make?
Oh, yeah. Actually, I'm trying to call to make sure that Katie Long is going to be in at a certain time, and I was actually going to call back tomorrow to make sure that I called during the time because I wanted to talk about the Bill Cosby matter.
Oh, I'm sorry. You have the wrong show, but no problem. You can call back when Miss Lowe is back on. Thanks for calling, though. All right. Well, we are just so fortunate and so blessed because our guest is here.
Wonderful.
So we're going to have him. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back momentarily. For those just tuning in, you're listening to the Voices of Change on Intellectual Radio. Going to give you about 10 seconds to pick up the phone, text, call, whoever you can. You need to have your friends and family listen to this show. As you can see, we have a new guest on here. We have Independent Democratic Cook County Commissioner, 2nd District candidate, Paul Montes.
How you doing?
We welcome him. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
We want to get right into the interview. We don't have a lot of time, and I want to find out some things about you. First of all, you're going to be filling in Commissioner Steele's shoes, correct?
That's correct.
He was a definite friend of ours. We're all West Siders. So he was definitely a friend, definitely a friend of ours. I want to understand, as far as your constituents, what area will you be serving?
The entire district. So the district actually goes from the west side, moves its way. Let's say it starts in Lawndale.
Okay.
And then moves its way east.
Okay.
And as it moves east, it'll kind of ride the expressway, a little bit north of the expressway,
Okay.
the Eisenhower. Then it'll go all the way north into Ukrainian Village, believe
That
it or
is
not.
so.
And then from Ukrainian Village, it'll work its way down Milwaukee as one of the dividing lines.
Okay.
It takes Milwaukee all the way down to the river, follows the river across, goes all the way across to Columbus. So it picks up a little bit of Streeterville. It picks up downtown, continues south all the way to South Loop, and then it gets really small, goes through Brownsville, touches it a little bit, and then gets larger as it continues south. It goes south into the north part of Chatham, and then continues west all the way to Inglewood and all the way to the end of the city, basically to Kedzie, picks up back to the yards a little bit. So it's a very diverse district.
It's diverse,
huge.
but it's
Wow.
huge.
It's
How many
huge.
people are you talking about, roughly?
Probably 400,000.
Is that one of the larger districts?
It's one of the
imagine?
it's one of the larger districts. It's also one of the few districts that's 100% within the city of Chicago. Not all the districts are within the city. There's
Right, being Cook County, right?
Because there's
right.
17 different districts, but this is one of the ones that's 100% within the city, and the map is pretty interesting when you see it.
Interesting. So I'm going to start with just a few questions. You have big shoes to fill. Commissioner Steele was an advocate for the West Side. You have an impressive background as an entrepreneur, a COO, an attorney. But what makes it right for you to represent the 2nd District as commissioner?
I believe that I'd be a representative of all of the constituents within this district. Because of the diversity of the district and the needs of everybody within the district are primarily the same. We all want good housing. We want safe communities. We all want services within our communities. We all want to make sure that we have good health care. So all of these issues are the same underlying issues, be it west, south, north. It doesn't matter where you are. As an individual, as a person, these are the things that are fundamental to having a good life. And these are the things that I know that I will fight for.
The main issues that impact your district are the economy, healthcare, criminal justice reform, the environment, and accountability. To have a sustainable community, we need all of those issues in line. But in your opinion, which issue should be addressed first and why?
The first issue that I think, the first and probably the most important issue, is community stability and economic development. Without a true economy that works, without jobs, we lose opportunities. We lose opportunities within the community. We lose vibrance within our community.
Would you focus on those areas that have a higher unemployment than those that may be more affluent then?
Yes, because job training programs, educational programs. So education and job training kind of go hand in hand.
Right.
The way that things are changing within our within our society, things what used to be labor intensive no longer are. So we need skills. We need to make sure that our schools are educating kids that are really focusing on STEM. STEM is probably the most important thing that our children need to be involved in.
Okay.
So looking at programs for that, and then as well as looking at retraining.
What about trades? Do you ever think about that?
Trades are extremely important. Trades have fallen off the wayside.
They have.
And we used to have trades within our school system. We no longer do. And unfortunately, those trades, in order to become a journeyman, you have to get into a trade school. You have to actually work with a union, and none of those are within our communities, not one. So we need to work to make sure that we bring those back to our community, so that we can have trades. Trades are the probably most important thing that's going to continue to exist no matter what. housing is going to continue to exist, development is going to continue to exist, be it industrial, commercial, institutional, without making sure that we're at the table with the skills, we'll never have those opportunities for that for economic development.
I'm an advocate for trade, so I really enjoy talking to you about that, because so many times we want to push our kids into college. All kids don't want to go to college. Some kids may want to go 2 years, make a good salary, be able to support their families, buy homes, buy cars. Perfect way to do that. Like you said, trades were in the high school. They could leave high school with a trade.
And to be employable.
Right.
So, and that's extremely important. The other thing is to make sure that we have a large population of people that have been incarcerated.
Mm.
They need the opportunity to be able to get back into the workforce. It's very difficult to get a job if you have a felony on your record. It's extremely difficult. So trades also will afford that opportunity for them to be able to get, I believe.
Will they be able to do a trade? Because a lot of them can't get licensed in different professions.
Well, it depends on what the licensing is, because
Right.
certain licensing requires that you don't have a felony.
Right.
But for others, it's wide open. So being able to make sure that there's the opportunity to have retraining, to have training, to develop a workforce within our community. Because once you develop that workforce and once you employ people, then our economy opens up. Our homes are taken care of. Our basic needs are taken care of. So that's extremely important to me.
This is your first time running in any kind of a political.
That's correct. I've never run for office before. I've always been behind a lot of people that have run for office. I've run other candidates before.
You have?
I've managed 1, 2, 3, 4 different campaigns, aldermanic campaigns within the city and then outside of the city as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I've always been the guy behind the guy.
And now you're going to be up front.
And now I'm up front. I thought it was the right time and the right opportunity. And then this is I think the Steele family I've known for quite some time. Robert's a good friend of mine. We've
Mm-hmm.
known each other for quite some time, but I thought this was a good opportunity, and I think I'm the right person for this seat.
If you guys want to chime in or ask anything.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
Please.
That's okay, because
Totally good.
Please.
on your site, your focus as it relates to economic development was one that nourishes the entrepreneur spirit, since capital in the city and the state appears to be very limited. How do you propose to do that for the entrepreneur?
So we have to make sure that there's capital opportunities through other institutions. We have multiple institutions within our city that seem, unfortunately, we've lost our minority institutions. We've lost black banks. They're basically gone. We only have Illinois Service Federal at this point, if I'm correct.
Is that the one in Bronzeville?
That's the one in Bronzeville.
Mm-hmm.
They're in Bronzeville and on 87th Street.
Right.
So they're really our last minority bank. We need to make sure that everyone that's doing business in our community, all these other larger banks, are actually giving opportunities to businesses within our community to grow. So money has to be made available to these businesses, and we have to do something, and we have to make sure that we're helping them understand that without that development, without that access to capital, these businesses can't grow.
Working with small businesses is great. You've already answered this question because we've already talked about it.
Okay.
It was going to be about trades because I have a thing about trades.
I understand. My father was a realtor, and I grew up kind of at his coattails, working on buildings, fixing things here and there. And one of the companies I've had, I've actually had a development company. I've built homes. I've worked on industrial projects. I actually was a co-partner on developing the Stickney water reclamation parking facility.
Oh, really?
So I've been involved in construction for quite some time. I represent a lot of minority contractors over the years, and it's difficult. I mean, it's hard for them to grow. And even making sure that the set-asides that are, I call them set-asides because that's what they were originally called.
That's what they used to call them, set-asides. What do they call them now?
They're MBE, WBE,
Oh,
DBE.
those, yeah, that's right.
That's all right. The new nomenclature. But
yeah.
And the reason why I got involved with the reason why I call it set-asides was my first inroads into politics was when I was in college. I actually interned with Congressman Hayes. And that was when the SBA and the minority set-asides were coming about. And so that's always been near and dear to my heart. So I think I just turned the question around. I'm sorry.
You didn't turn the question around. Keep going.
So, I mean, we want to make sure that minorities are at the table. We want to make sure that very few, if any, there shouldn't be any waivers. There should never be an opportunity for a larger contractor to be able to produce a waiver. To say there are no minorities who are qualified to do this work. No, there are.
But I see that all the time, though.
That's all the time, and it's kind of it goes as though, and no one is actually taking a good, solid look at it, because there are qualified minority contractors out there that can do the work. We have to make sure that we get them to the table so they have that opportunity.
Okay. Thank you. No, I was hoping they were coming in here because we all needed a water break. You also mentioned on the site, and this is something I'm passionate about also. This is self-serving, right? It's kind of sounding.
Here we go. This is all your show.
It's kind of sounding like that now because I'm like, wow.
You have a passion for a lot of things.
I know. Anyway, you also mentioned your passion for mental health treatment access for all residents. Your predecessor, Commissioner Steele, was also an advocate of mental health and supported the Westside Expanded Mental Health Initiative. Are you familiar with this initiative? And are you a supporter? Oh,
yes, I'm a supporter.
Okay.
I mean, mental health is the unsung. It's not unsung. It's the unmentioned underlying premise that evades our entire society, and from there we look at, and it affects our communities. It affects our crime rate. It affects recidivism. I can never say that word. It drives me crazy. But but it is so important, and it's almost as though it doesn't exist. And they're making it exist less and less, but we're having more and more problems. So it is so direly important that we maintain and grow our mental health system, because our mental health system really is, our gun crisis is a mental health crisis. Our crime crisis is a mental health crisis. I think they go hand in hand.
It's kind of rooted in it. Yeah, there's.
And it's an underlying. It's underlying. It's an underpinning part of it. So without being able to treat and without making sure that there's access, we have to make sure that continues. And there have been cuts. I mean, the federal government, everything else. Those are the things you cut back on. But that's not what we can afford to cut back on. We have to make sure that our hospital systems are strong in all aspects.
Oh, the hospital system. That's what I wanted to talk about.
All right. Well, they're kind of hand in hand.
What did I have about the hospital system? With the repeal of the recent soda tax, what is your position on that? And are you in favor of a regressive tax system?
I am not in favor of regressive tax.
Amen, because it disproportionately affects poor.
Right, it does. And I mean, let's use the soda tax.
Go ahead and say that's one of my things.
But let's use the soda tax as an example. The way that it disproportionately affects the poor is, or let's look at it the other way. For those that have the opportunity to avoid the tax, they have the funds, the resources, the ability to be able to drive elsewhere and get their needs.
Yes.
For a senior, for someone that doesn't have that ability, for somebody that's using public transportation, they can't leave the community. They're being punished more than anybody else. So it's a punitive tax.
It is.
And if in fact the reason why this tax was proposed was for a health benefit,
but that didn't make sense to me either. But
then why is it no longer an issue? Because if the health of our children and our community and sugar-based items and sugar-based products, even though sugar is natural, I mean, raw sugar, there's nothing wrong with brown sugar. I mean, sugar is part of what we do. If that were truly the intent, then it should have continued, and we should still have that conversation. That conversation disappeared the second this tax got erased.
Oh, yes. Of course it did.
So that's my position. That's kind of where I am on it.
Well, I don't want to put you in the hot seat, but that's my position too. Because with but everyone's up for election now. This is going to be very interesting. So you'll be representing the West Side, the North Side, downtown,
downtown,
the South Side, the Southeast Side.
Yeah.
How are you going to get around to all this? Where's your office? You don't have an idea. Yeah, you don't know. You got to have one on the west side. I'm telling you right now.
Actually, hopefully, wait, hopefully if the
Just
budget.
for Jay.
Right.
No,
Right.
no, no, no. I can go south. No.
But ideally, it would be somewhere that would be accessible.
Yeah,
That it wouldn't be-
right.
that it wouldn't be very difficult for people to be able to get to the office. And many times, because the district,
Do you have Hyde Park?
no. So you know what? I have
A map? Oh, good.
Mondo.
Wait,
I
you know
have
how I
a
do in
map.
maps?
Tap, tap, tap.
Let me see if I can find this map for you. But the way that the district is set up, it's difficult to. The centralized part of the district would be downtown, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. From north to
From north to-
west to downtown to south.
Hang on, let me
That's a
see if
weird
I can pull
area.
this map up.
How's the parking though?
Huh?
How would the parking?
Oh, the
be?
parking. No, you
downtown
couldn't.
is
No,
not an issue.
no.
It's just I'm not.
Oh.
I will going downtown. I will public transportation. Period.
Yeah.
There is no other way.
Yeah.
There is no other way.
Of course.
$30
On average,
a
it's
car.
$30. If you pass an hour, you're paying $30. I don't care where you go.
It's
You're
true.
paying
Yes.
$30, and that's ridiculous. I used to actually have an office downtown, and after 2.5 years, I said, "This is ridiculous. I can't have my clients come to see me and spend that much money." So I went back to where I originally started, and so my office is on the south side, and that's kind of
Where
where
you
I've
been?
been. And I came back. I've been back for 6 years, but I tried it for 2 years because I was doing a lot of business downtown, but not for my clients.
Hmm.
So I moved my office. Let me see if I can find this map. I'm sorry.
What was your law specialty?
So what don't I do is the real question. Specialty, I non-for-profit, construction law, real estate,
construction law, right.
transactions. I do probate for some clients. I've done criminal. I've done DCFS.
Jeez.
I've done foreclosures. I've done tax appeals. So my practice is a people's practice.
Okay.
Clearly.
It's a different type, and I'm a sole practitioner, so
Okay.
it is me.
Okay. That makes it
And
different.
but my background, I mean, I've had a varied background, so I understand the nuances, and I understand business and how things go. My wife and I also had a health food store we opened for 5 years, and our landlord kind of bumped us out of our lease, but kind of understood that going in, and we kept moving. But yeah, and we've been involved for quite some time in healthy living, and that's why the sugar tax was really got to me, because it's like that's not what that was.
And the commercials on the poor little kids and the rates
I
of diabetes. Did you see the commercials?
Right, that was
I
great.
was like,
That
you
was
guys,
Really?
come on.
No, that's a bigger issue that's within our community. We no longer have gym at school.
There you go. You
Our
remember
kids do
Jim?
not-
Do you
our
remember
kids do not
Jim?
move going to Hill.
My kids do not.
And we
move.
can't go outside and have them
So
ride the
we
bike
can't-
or
right.
Right.
So
They need that PE.
they need that PA time. They also need their community to be one in which they can actually be out.
but they can't
outside.
be out like
can't.
that. They're
Right.
afraid of getting
So that-
shot.
So that's so
Exactly.
all of these kind of come back to that same. It's the same group, same issue. I'm sorry. Let me work on trying to get this map.
Oh, good. Thank you. You know,
having that
I'm not really
tap
good with
is
maps.
so important.
It is because they
It
don't have
is.
any activity now. When you walk them even downtown, they're like, "Oh, I'm tired." You're tired.
Time, like,
You haven't walked anywhere yet.
we look forward to people
All right.
coming up.
This is our map. I'm sorry. This is just the northern part of the map. So this is Lawndale. This is working its way back to New City, and then working up to Ukrainian Village. This is downtown. See the river as it goes through. That's like the river coming all the way across, and then working its way down through South Loop, a little bit further south, touching Bronzeville, getting really skinny into like the craziest looking part of the map. And then it opens up
wow.
again as it comes further south. This is like in the 30s, 40s.
Okay.
And then this is 51st, where it gets wide again, goes over to King Drive. This is Garfield, and it just shoots all the way over past Western. And then
Oh,
it
so
continues
he's got
all the way
less
down. This map is just,
That map is.
it's insane.
That-
Can you see it? So this is, if I turn it, let's see if I can make it small so everybody can see it. Turn, it won't turn. But you can see that's the top half of the map, and that's the bottom half of the map.
Jeez, that is
Isn't that
It
crazy?
is, it's one of the
Wow.
craziest maps you'll see.
wow.
Yeah.
Well,
So that and
Central
that's the entire
Region
district.
is
But at the same time, when you really think about it, the needs of everybody within this district are the same.
Mm-hmm.
We all want a good place. We want a good, safe community. We want access to good health care. We want access to jobs. We want to make sure that we have good education, and we want to make sure that our communities are great. It's a fundamental need of everybody.
And that's what all of our areas want. Some of us have more needs in some areas.
Right. Some have more than others.
Yeah.
And certain parts are more devastated than others.
They are.
Our housing stocks are different, but again, it's the same fundamental need.
If I were to tell you that you're going to give us your 1-minute elevators pitch for why you should be commissioner, you're on now to give it.
That's my 1-minute speech.
Yep, this is your 1-minute elevator speech.
I'm an attorney of over 27 years. I'm an entrepreneur. I truly understand the needs of our community, the diversity of our community. As commissioner, I will fight as I do for my clients every day, and I will fight to make sure that our county is a great place to live, to work, to shop, and raise a family. Because I truly want my kids to grow up and live in this county.
That was a good one. That was a good one. I'm impressed. I'm really impressed with your attitude as far as knowing that there's more of a demand in some areas than others. I like the fact that you know that there's deficiencies maybe on the west sides and south sides, and you're willing to tackle those first. I like the fact that you want to focus on employment, because I can't buy a house if I don't have a job. And for young people to have trades, those people who have been incarcerated, to have them get back to work. There's a lot of things on your platform that is very appealing. And I would definitely go to St. Agatha this week for my early voting.
All right.
Of course.
Thank you.
Did I give 2 plugs now? St. Agatha. No. So for everyone who's listening, I want all of you to know that this is the candidate for Cook County Commissioner, 2nd District. He hates to be called this, but I'll call him that anyway. Attorney Paul Montes. Did you hear that? This man has all the traits and all the characteristics that someone should have in a role like this. And I want everyone to get out to early vote on March 20th. Go out there to vote. If you're within the district, the 2nd District, just remember that name, Paul Montes.
Say yes to Paul Montes, punch 91.
Oh, Montez.
Yes to Montes. 91.
Yes to Montez. I want to thank Commissioner. Oops. Well, you know what? They tell me to speak things into existence, so it's a habit. I'm sorry. Candidate Commissioner Montez. I'm speaking into. Okay, I'm doing me again. Okay. Thank you so much for joining us. And I have to tell you, this guy is so flexible. I gave him the wrong date. I talked to him an hour ago. I said, I'm so sorry. I gave you the wrong date. He said, I'll be there. Thank you. You'll have my vote. All right. And thank you to Ms. Shamel, and thank you to my other co-host, Mr. Bell. Everyone have a good week. Stay woke, March 20th. Don't forget, Montez.
Can we get a picture?